lecture we will talk about blood. Okay, blood, which is known as river of life. Why it is known as river of life? Because it transfer different gases to different part of our body, okay, such as the oxygen, which is very important for our life. Okay, and it is what is the color of blood? It is red colored fluid. Is it? It is red colored liquid actually, which circulate in our body. Why it is red in color? Due to the presence of a pigment which is known as the hemoglobin pigment. Okay, due to hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin. Okay, and it is a type of fluid connective tissue. Why I'm saying fluid connective tissue, beta? Just a second. Fluid connective tissue, it means to say because it is a fluid, it is present in the liquid form. Okay, and it transport dissolved substances from one part of body to the another part. Okay, that's why it is a type of connective tissue that connect different part now. And it is also in fluid connective tissue, it is a type of softest tissue. It is the softest tissue of our body. There are so many tissues are present in our body. If I'm talking about the hardest tissue, it is the bone, while the softer tissue in the body, it is known as the blood. Okay, and in our body there are approximate 5 to 5.5 liter of blood is present. That is, it is approximate 7 to 8% of body weight. Okay, clear? And what about the pH? Their pH is just 7.4. Okay, so blood is a connective tissue and it contains many things. What it contains? Actually, it consists of 4 different things. Okay, so let me write down here. It consists of 4 components, the main components of blood. Main components of blood. Okay, main components of blood, these are actually, it contain two main things, two main components. First one is known as beta plasma, and second one is known as the formed element. Formed elements means to say beta different type of cells are presented. Okay, different type of cells such as RBCs. It contain RBC, that is red blood cells. It contain white blood cells, WBCs, and platelets. Okay, so plasma, it is a liquid part. It is a liquid part because, as you know, the blood is a liquid part. So liquid part is due to this, it is just like a fluid matrix. Okay, and in this fluid matrix, 3 type of cells, RBC, WBC, and platelets, keep floating. Okay, so we will now define blood as follows, that blood is a liquid, okay, or fluid matrix called plasma with red blood cells, white cells, and platelets floating in it. Okay, so we will now describe all the four components of blood in a little more detail. Okay, so come here, let's write down about the plasma. First of all, we will discuss about the plasma. Okay, so write down that it is a write down that it is a fluid matrix. Okay, fluid part of the blood. Okay, fluid part of blood. Okay, and what are the color of plasma? If I separate WBCs, RBCs, and platelet, I mean to say, if I separate all the color or the cells from plasma, then what is the actual color of plasma? Plasma itself is a colorless fluid, beta. Okay, it is colorless fluid. Okay, it is itself a colorless fluid which mainly contain water with many substances dissolved in it. Okay, so let me talk about the different composition of there. Okay, that it contain, plasma contain mainly beta water. Okay, main composition, the main part is the water. About 90% of water is present in it. Okay, and plasma also contain dissolved substances, so many dissolved substances, and it contain plasma protein. How much amount of plasma protein? 6 to 8% of plasma protein, and beta 1 to 4% of various cations, anions, I mean to say electrolytes, you can write down. Okay, cation, anion, hormones, it contain nutrients, okay, it contain nitrogenous waste, mini nitrogenous waste, okay. Different type of gases also present here. Gases, can you tell me what type of gases are present in it? Yes, exactly, it contain carbon dioxide and oxygen, because the main role of blood is to transport different type of gases to different part of our body, okay. So plasma, so one more thing you have to write down, that plasma, total amount of blood out of this 5 to 5.5 liter, 3.5 liter is occupied by your plasma, that is 5% of body weight, okay. While remaining 2 to 2.5 liter is formed are present of the, it is occupied by these cells, okay. Now if I'm talking about the plasma protein, there are different plasma proteins are present, and the first one is the albumin, which is responsible for maintaining colloidal osmotic pressure of the blood, and this is the most abundant protein, okay, most abundant plasma protein, clear, most abundant plasma protein. I'm writing protein like this, don't get confused, okay. You can also write this like, okay. Next one is the globin, another one is the fibrinogen, okay, and last protein is the prothrombin, okay. Fibrinogen and prothrombin, both of these are responsible for blood clotting, actually they help in blood clotting, okay, and both of these are present, either it is a fibrinogen or prothrombin, both of these are present in a very minute quantity, in a trace amount, okay. So keep this in your mind, that plasma carries all these substances, all these substances in a dissolved form from one part to another part in the body, okay. And the red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets are immersed in this liquid called plasma, okay. Now let's talk about red blood cells. So now write down the heading beta, red blood cells, red blood cells, okay, that is RBCs, which is also known as erythrocyte, okay. This is the first cell which is present in our blood, okay. Now if I'm talking about shape of RBCs, yes, write down shape of RBCs, shape, their shape is, it is circular, it is circular, biconcave and non-nucleated. Non-nucleated means to say do not have nuclei, okay. Non-nucleated means to say there is no nucleus present inside it, okay. And if I'm talking about their size, all of them means to say in between the WBC, RBCs and platelets, the size of RBCs is smaller, okay, but their count is so much, their normal count is so much, okay. This is present in very high amount in our blood, that is 50 to 50 lakh of RBCs are present, cubic of blood RBCs are present in our blood. And what are the process known as, the process of formation of RBC is known as erythropoiesis, okay, erythropoiesis, okay. And where RBCs are formed, yes, RBC formation start in, RBC formation, it start in bone marrow, okay. This can be framed as a question. We will discuss about the bone marrow and detailed thing about the erythropoiesis in the higher classes, okay, clear. Now do you know that RBC cells have to be made very quickly, because they do not live for long life. Each red blood cells lives for about 4 months, okay. So their lifespan is, it is approximate how much days, it is 120 days, 4 months na, it means to say 120 days their lifespan, okay. So one reason for the short life of red blood cell is that they do not have nuclei, okay. That's why it has been estimated that about 3 million red blood cells of the human blood die every day. I mean to say 1%. Okay, 1% RBCs undergo breakdown daily. Okay, daily, they break down daily. And where they break down? In liver. In liver, the breakdown RBCs goes into the liver and the spleen. Okay, in liver there is a cell pressure known as the Kupffer cells. Yes, Kupffer cells are present. And spleen, do you know that the spleen is known as the graveyard of RBCs? Yes. Okay, so when we donate blood to save the life of a person, then the loss of blood from our body can be made up very quickly within a day. This is because red blood cells are made very fast in our bone marrow. Okay, in our bone marrow. So please note that most of the cells in blood are red blood cells. This is present in very high amount. Okay, and this RBCs, this actually RBC is responsible for carrying the oxygen to different part of our body. Okay, clear? So RBCs circulate in a blood vessel in a linear way. Clear to everyone? Okay. Now let's talk about, before talking the function of blood, now let me tell you about the one, let us talk about the WBCs also. Okay, so erase all these points. Let us talk about the WBCs. Yes, write on heading WBC, that is white blood cells, or you also called as leukocytes or WBCs. ठीक है? Okay, one second, just a second. I'm going to write it again. White blood cells, that is leukocytes. Okay, WBCs. Okay, so leukocytes do not have hemoglobin. Hemoglobins are present in RBCs. Okay, that's why RBCs are red in color. Why RBCs are red in color? Due to presence of a red color pigment. Okay, that which is known as hemoglobin. Clear to everyone? While if I'm talking about the WBCs, not red in color. This is white in color. It is white in color. Give me a second. Hanji, this is white in color. White in color due to absence of hemoglobin. Clear? Okay, and what about their size and what about their amount? Their size is so much larger than RBCs, but their count, that is total leukocyte count is 600 to 800 per millimeter cube of blood. Very less. Okay, although their count is less, but they are present in very high amount. What about their shape? Amoeboid shape. I mean to say there is no definite shape. Amoeboid shape. Okay, these are amoeboid shape, colorless as I told you, but these are nucleated. They have nucleus. Okay, so nucleated blood cells these are. Okay, I mean to say, if I'm talking about the ratio of the WBCs and RBCs, they are present in 600:1. Okay, so what are the function of WBCs? Can you tell me? देखो, main function of WBC is to fight infection. They fight infection and protect us from diseases, from different type of diseases. This is because white blood cells help to fight against germs and other foreign bodies which cause diseases. Okay, even there are different type of white blood cells. Let me write it there. There are different type of WBCs are present. So let me write it there. Types of WBCs. Okay, just give me a second. Hanji. So different type of, such as the acidophils. Okay, basophils, neutrophils, Clear? Lymphocytes and macrophage या monocytes. Okay, these are different type of RBCs. Okay, so some white blood cells can eat the germs like these are able to eat germs. They show phagocytic activity. Okay, so these are phagocytic cells. Okay, while other WBCs make some type of chemical like this one, it make chemicals, antibodies, it make antibodies against the antigen to fight against infection means to say if any virus, any bacteria enters into your body, this is known as antigen. Then our immune system, that is our lymphocyte, start making antibodies in response to these antigens and kill it. Okay, so WBCs manufacture antibodies which are responsible for providing, they are responsible for providing immunity in our body. Immunity in our body means to say prepare of our body to fight with foreign bodies, okay, foreign particles, due to which we are protected from disease and infection. In fact, white blood cells, that's why white blood cells are known as the WBCs are known as the soldiers of our body, soldiers of the body. It means to say they are responsible for the defense mechanism of our body. So this is because they protect the body from attack of diseases, Hanji, from attack of disease causing germs and other harmful foreign materials. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so this is all about the WBCs. Now RBCs and WBCs is completed. Let's talk about the platelets beta. Okay, let's talk about the platelets. Now write down next heading, that is platelets. Platelets. If I'm talking about the platelet, these are very tiny fragments. These are tiny fragments. Okay, of a spherical cell which is formed in bone marrow. This is also formed in bone marrow. Actually WBC, actually all the RBCs are formed in bone marrow, and this is also formed in bone marrow. Okay, formed in bone marrow, that is BM. Okay, so what are their function? If they have any nuclei? No, do not have nuclei. It means to say these are non-nucleated. Okay, they helps in coagulation of blood. Coagulation of blood. Coagulation of blood means to say beta, they help in clotting of blood. Okay, they help in clotting of blood in cut or wound. Okay, for example, when a cut or wound start bleeding, then platelets help clot the blood, make the blood semi-solid, due to which further bleeding stops. Okay, so all the blood cells are made in bone marrow. Keep this in your mind, from the cell which is known as stem cell. Okay, now let's talk about functions of blood. Okay, so blood has three main functions in the human body. These are the transport of substances, okay, protection against diseases, and regulation of body temperature. Okay, so let's talk about the important function. Here I am going to write down all the function one by one. So first function of blood is to carries oxygen. Okay, it carries oxygen from lungs to different part of body, to different parts of the body. Okay, I mean to say they help in transport of substance. This is the first function. Okay, clear? Second one is the carries carbon dioxide from body cells, because after respiration process, when oxygen are taken by the body cells, they give carbon dioxide to the blood, body cells to the lungs. Okay, then via lung they expelled out. Clear? For breathing, just a second, where it goes, for breathing out. Okay, blood also carries digested food. So these are function related to the transport of substances. Okay, digested food from small intestine to all parts of body, to all parts of body. Okay, it also carries hormones. It also carries hormones, yes, because there are some, the hormones are released, I mean to say the hormones from endocrine glands are secreted into the blood. Then as the blood is a liquid form now, so it flows into different part of the body, then it gives hormones to different part of the body where they are needed. Okay, and fifth one is that it carries a waste product. Okay, carries waste product called urea, product that is urea from liver. From liver, actually liver give urea and it is taken up by the blood, and then blood give it to the kidney. Why? To excrete out. Why? To excrete out, I mean to say for excretion in urine, excretion via urine. Okay, so these are the functions which are related to the transport. These help in the transport of substances. These are the first one. Okay, second one is to the, yes, protection against diseases. Second one is to protection against diseases. Okay, sixth is the protection against diseases, is protect the body from diseases. Protect body from diseases, different type of diseases. This is because white blood WBCs kills the bacteria and other germs which cause disease, especially the WBCs. Here I am talking. Okay, now seven is the, what is the seven? Seven is related to the regulation of body temperature. Okay, it regulates body temperature. Okay, clear? So this is because blood capillaries in our skin help to keep our body temperature constant at about 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, now let's talk about the transport in humans. We are talking actually about the transport in humans, but here we are talking about the what are the transport system. Okay, so the main transport system in human beings is the blood circulatory system, है ना, which is also known as the circulatory system. So in the human circulatory system, blood carries oxygen, it carries digested food and other chemicals like hormones, enzymes to all the parts of the body. It also takes away the waste product like carbon dioxide, urea produced in the body cells. I just told you about this now in the last slide. Okay, so the human circulatory system consists of heart. It consists of blood vessels. Okay, so in blood circulatory system, the blood flows through three types of blood vessels. Okay, so write down, blood flows through three types of blood vessels. BVS is known as the blood vessels. Okay, and first one is known as the arteries. There are so many arteries are present, tiny, okay, broad, so many different type of arteries are present. Okay, capillaries. Clear? Now the blood vessels of the circulatory system are present in each and every part of the human body, due to which blood reaches to all the part of our body. Okay, clear? So this is all for about the blood and the transport in human. In the next lecture we will do detailed study about the human circulatory system. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.